Nijisanji app tweeting out um, earlier this morning. Um, Basically, they're allowing people back into the VTuber Academy. So this translation isn't perfect, but the VTuber Virtual Talent Academy will be holding the following auditions. We look forward to your applications. And the period is until Monday, June 24th. So here's the official website, the application form. Now, why is this a problem? This doesn't seem like a big problem, right? Just Nijisanji saying, oh, Virtual Talent Academy is holding auditions. Why is this a problem, chat? Well, let me tell you exactly what is going on. Because, as with all things Nijisanji, not is all as it seems. So, in this particular entry form, you're going to see a lot of very questionable things that are coming up. So, their night classes are 5 times a week as part of the Virtual Talent Academy. Which, by the way, chat, Virtual Talent Academy is basically like, it's almost like the Hunger Games for VTubers. You're trying to fight your way to the top. So there's no guarantee that you're going to be successful. You're trying to stand out amongst the crowd. But here's the part that really gets me. Minors allowed with parental consent. Chat, we very much know that the VTuber space is not a minor space, a minor friendly space at all. Like, very much so. So here is the audition form. Of course, you can see here, those who participate in interviews in Tokyo, those who can secure an active schedule 20 hours or more per week, including night lessons in Tokyo, about 5 days per week. So chat, 5 days a week, on top of what you're already doing and creating. You have to give 20 hours of your time per week, 5 days a week at night, to be a part of this experience. Bro, that's intense. That is a lot of time. So huge L here from Nijisanji, guys. Nijisanji also tweeting out a follow-up to all the Nijisanji livers that are partnering with the NBA. The first round of 10 teams that did livers combinations revealed will reveal original illustrations of the product lineup in the next stream. And of course, here's the official image for all of these talents lining up with all of these talents. Now, or I'm sorry, the NBA talents. Now, chat, let me ask you, what do any of these teams have to do with any of these talents? What do they have to do with these talents? Why is this happening? I don't understand. It makes no sense. But I want to point you to something about a talent on this screen, chat. Today, chat, the L's continue because we're going to be talking about Luca today, chat. So, a while ago, Raziel actually tweeted out this post right here, which is back on March 29th, that said, my experience with Java,
TBF,
aka Luca. Release this document, my experience with Java and Luca. Now, this document, chat, was extremely damning towards Luca. And Java was their past life. Very damning. Unfortunately, chat, this document no longer is able to be viewed. Yeah, what's up, Jack Kala? What's up, Pocket? It is no longer be able to view because a lot of people reported to have it taken down. There are lots of good points in this document. Now, chat, this happened back in March. But why is this a big deal? You're like, oh, I don't even give a shit. Like, you know, whatever. This happened a while ago. Why is this important? Well, chat, everything for Nijisanji is about to change right here. This is absolutely insane. So last night, Raz tweeted out, I was just served a cease and desist from Any Color Inc. in paper. I fully intend to comply with it as I have until now and will continue to into the future. That is all I was sharing the matter. Thank you. So chat, any color went after Raz for this document that they released on Luca. Now I know that this is just this isn't like 100% confirmed or anything. This is just speculation. But chat, why would they need to take it down and serve a cease and desist if they didn't have a reason? That is 100% Polly Among Us beep beep self-report. That all but confirms that everything in that document was real. Why would you need to serve a cease and desist unless you have to protect yourself legally, because some of, if not all of that document was real? There's a fantastic video that covers a lot of this stuff. So we're going to watch it and we're going to dive in.
Really
big shout out to, of course, Amujin for this video. So talking about the Luca and Razzle incident.
Today is crazy. It's about a train wreck of a VTuber whose every passing step triggered some sort of landmine, and he ended up even leaking internal Nijisanji protocols. This tweet right here kind of sums it up. 18-year-old meets 20-plus married woman in VR chat. They get into an online relationship. They abuse and use each other in various toxic ways. This eventually destroys her marriage. He makes it big, realizes he doesn't need her. She goes nuclear. My literal reaction. Now look, this isn't 100% accurate, right? She wasn't married, she was just in a long-term relationship with a boyfriend. And while yes, this does kind of sum it up, this situation is an iceberg and the devil is in the details, because here, he left
So Chad, I know that all of that's not real, right? But this is just setting up for absolute insanity.
In question touched himself, yes, down there, while on a call with this woman without her consent, by the way, and somehow, okay, somehow managed to manipulate the situation in such a way that by the end of it, she was the one apologizing
and
to
he
him.
really came out on top.
It's absolutely came out on top. Bonk.
So chat, I don't even need to say anymore. I cannot show you the video and you can see why the cease and desist had to happen. I don't even need to like watch the rest of the video, and you can see how already damning it is.
Dude, it is
towards
crazy.
Luca.
Like, I'm not using the word train wreck lightly. This is insane. And there's many more details like that that will make you question whether the human race can survive another 100 years, and how Nijisanji is such a mess internally. Yep. It's more than we could have ever.
That's a pocket. This person is going to talk about a Luca, who is a talent within Nijisanji. So Raz made this document on Luca, talking about how bad that they were, all the stuff that they did. And Nijisanji actually sent a cease and desist to Raz over talking about any color in their talents. Maybe I missed it.
The VTuber at the center of this catastrophe is none other than Luca Kaneshiro, a Nijisanji English branch VTuber and part of the Luxium wave. This was a wave comprised of only male VTubers.
only male VTubers for that one.
Controversies aside, this wave was a very big deal for the global VTuber community. Before Luxium, male VTubers were purely seen as a joke, but this wave changed that. The idea of male VTubers became viable. Now, of course, the reason why they became viable and blew up so quickly was because they were thirst trapping, gay baiting, and pretty much creating a boyfriend experience type scenario. I mean,
what you gonna? There's nothing wrong with that, chat. By the way, like, tons of VTubers create the girlfriend experience, and that's okay. There was obviously a market and a niche that needed to be filled for the boyfriend experience. So there's nothing wrong with that inherently, right? Like, I think some people would be like, oh, blah, 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 but like, there's nothing wrong with that inherently.
Evidence of their success can be seen here. Vox Akuma at 3rd, Mr. Rise, who has graduated, at 6, and Luca at 7, all members of Luxium with above 1 million subscribers each, and in the top 10 of Nijisanji
you can tell this did
global,
really well.
Beating most
really
Japanese
well for them.
in Nijisanji's biggest market. But in Luca's case, before even joining Nijisanji, he did have an online presence. Not as Luca, but as someone named Java. And his insane trail of self-destruction.
This is basically where Luca came from. This is his past life as Java. And it's really important that you know his past life because of all of the stuff that he did while he was Java.
Destruction with him stepping on a landmine with every step he takes can be traced back to those days. According to the VR Chat Legends wiki, Java is known as a god tier trap in VR chat. With the most notable quote from him being, "That's kinda gay." So that was his whole gimmick. Pretend to be a female with his voice and then reveal the fact that he's a guy and watch the reaction. He got so good at being a trap in VR chat that he ended up joining the, I like to call it the Bohemian Grove of streamers.
The Bohemian Grove.
Which was Rafflegator's invite-only Gator crew.
This is like the Hollywood private group. Like, this is like the place like where the highest end of people would go. Yeah.
Streamers at the time present there, which meant that if you somehow got an invite and played your
there's
cards
lore
right,
in VR
you could
chat,
potentially
absolutely.
start a streaming career, which is why so many people were desperate to get an invite.
Yeah, like you
Some
want
of
to
the
get
names
in
on
that
this
group
list
chat.
include people like Soda Poppin' and Moon
You
Moon,
want to get in that
not to
group.
mention a lot of rising stars. So it was a big deal. This was an 18+ RP server
Literally,
on VR
Lizard.
chat. Yes, you can imagine the degenerate
Yes, chat. It's an 18+ RP server.
that went on there, especially with the content mostly being centered around awkwardness and dating, trying to pick up people, trying to riz them before even the term was invented. You get the point. After being invited to the server by Rafflegator,
Interesting
Java
place
met
to be, for
Raziel,
sure.
a VR chat streamer and role player. It was at that point that he asked Rafflegator to
So this is where Razzle steps in because Razzle was, an avatar creator for VR
set him
chat.
up on an RP date with her. So they went on RP dates, streamed together a lot. The community got used to seeing both of them in the same
king of the
room.
hill
And from the
fucking
perspective
avatar.
of a viewer, everything seemed to have been going well. Then at some point, Nijisanji opens up auditions, Java applies, to his surprise he's accepted,
He
and
gets
boom,
it.
baby, stardom. He is Luca Kaneshiro in the Luxeme wave, and he makes it big. But again, this is from the perspective of a viewer. I can't even begin to describe what happened behind the scenes. The irony here is that even though he's made this joke, agency VTubers
Oh, wow,
commits
it's crazy.
cancelable actions. That is exactly what he ends up doing.
Multiple times, by the way.
Over. Both in
Multiple fucking
terms
times.
of contract breaches and just
Yeah, it's about
straight
Luca.
up
We're talking about how Luca, like his whole thing, right? But also the stuff with Raz with the cease and desist last night. So that's why we're
ethical
watching this
and
video to
moral
kind of give
type
all the
incidents.
context.
Because it was on March
That's
29th
called
that
foreshadowing.
Raziel herself decided
Yes,
to
okay.
expose Luca for his true self in an effort to clear her name from his rabid hardcore fans. By the way, those same rabid fans, they didn't even let this document stay up for more than 24 hours
They
before
ended
mass
up reporting
reporting it. With Google having to take it down, dude. It's gone. It's straight
That's
up
crazy.
gone. I've never seen this
That's
happen
actually
before.
crazy.
But thankfully, she re-uploaded it. Guys, this thing is 58 pages. She starts off by
I know
saying
I can
this.
find it easily
Why does
somewhere.
this document exist? A very good question. She goes on to say that more information, such as the Nijisanji contract, has come out along with another individual in the know confessing to me that Luca Kaneshiro has allegedly harassed others inside of Nijisanji. So here she's talking about how a Nijisanji...
So let's put this in perspective a second, chat. This person comes up with all this stuff, right? Talks about how this talent is bad. Talks about how Nijisanji is allowing this talent to harass and abuse other people. And what is their response, chat? How does Nijisanji deal with this situation? They send a cease and desist. Way to go, Nijisanji! Way to take action! Way to go! Taking accountability! Good job!
The VTuber contract leaked recently
I'm
as
Makari,
things
how are
were
you?
escalating
Yeah,
after
literally just
Sellen's
fucking try to
termination.
cover it up.
Legal Mindset, who's a registered lawyer and happens to have a great channel, went through the entire contract on one of his streams and pretty much outlined the fact that this is terribly written
And it's
gives a
not
huge
even
disadvantage
enforceable.
to the VTuber signing it. Sellen's termination also shed light on harassment happening internally. So the fact that Luca seems to have been harassing people allegedly as well goes back to that incident
so,
too. She continues,
and,
I
and
believe
that
it is
was
my
that was
responsibility
only
to bring
alleged,
to light.
right? But a lot of people were kind of thinking that Luca was one of the ones that maybe harassed her. But I mean, we don't know that. That's alleged, right? But it is weird that the timing of all this,
problematic
right?
behavior and patterns of abuse as both Java and Luca, for those who may be in a precarious situation, which do not allow them to speak or act. This is also to touch upon the internal issues of any color's management of their talents. Any documents are
Oh,
simply
they're
meant to prove the
not,
credibility of my
Makari.
story and that I was
Unless
deeply
I'm in
involved.
like fucking like Hollow or something, it's not worth it.
Oh yeah, she was, buddy. She was deeply involved. She then goes on to say that while some may be asking why I didn't do this sooner, I'll be completely honest. No one cared. She says, I am to this day harassed and sent death threats by Luca's fan base. They actively suppress, lie, and spread vicious rumors to try and discredit me. Hence, why her document got taken down from Google like literally one day after she posted it.
It's so crazy that all the fans
my
stepped
Marshmallow
in
and Sock Puppet Twitter
and
accounts.
pushed this
So I gave
to get
up
it
for a
taken
long
out,
time.
taken down.
So as I mentioned before, they met in December
crazy.
2018 in the exclusive 18+ VR chat lobby that had a lot of big streamers.
Literally zero accountability.
So Java then asked Rafflegator, the streamer who owned the lobby, to see if he could set up a date with his character and Raziel's character.
Ew.
It was nothing out of the ordinary, right? As she mentions, you know, this was part of the whole server. This was the main content. So she was okay with it.
I would hate to piss off like a big VTuber because holy shit.
She apparently, according to her,
them, it's the
set
fans.
very clear boundaries, that she wasn't interested in actual dating outside of RP, that she had a long-term boyfriend, etc., right? So as far as she was concerned, things...
Yeah, I agree with that, Pocket. That's a great point. So like, why did you stay? We already know that Nijisanji literally traps you, it makes you an indentured servant. So they really can't just leave if they want to.
We're okay.
Like they literally have no choice.
Of course, they gradually became close friends. They started inviting each other to private worlds, hung out together, chilled, talked, and that's when he would start to open up about his home situation, his mental and physical abuse that comes from his family. And then, of course, there's the whole, he would tell me that he never felt comfortable talking about this stuff with anyone before. Look, this is typical.
Typically,
if someone is nice to you, forms a bond with you, and then all of a sudden,
for both parties, it's not easy to leave.
Trauma dumps enough of a load to break a Tesla truck. Guess what? This is most likely a great way to just manipulate you. So of course she started opening up in return as
they
well.
Always control
now here's what, this is probably the craziest thing. Look, we're still on page 2. Okay, we're still on page 2. This is the craziest thing that happens in all these 58 pages. Brace. So on January 17, 2019, Java would once again invite me to a private world. We were both in full body tracking in VR chat. We discussed RP and made small talk before Java would go silent. At first, I thought maybe his mom came into his room, as she often did, and he muted himself to talk to her. I kept talking, and I could see him moving slightly, but he kept silent.
Yeah, this part.
I asked him if everything was okay, and he said it was. I then asked him what he was doing. It was there. Without asking me if it was okay, out of the blue, with no prior consent and with boundaries already made clear that I did not want to date, he told me he was touching himself to my voice. Yes, down there, buddy.
The literally average VR chat interaction. What the fuck? That's gross.
That's what that means. He was beating his sausage. I froze up. I honestly did not know how to respond at the moment, so I just kept talking. Luckily, it did not last long because suddenly I would see his avatar's head drop to the floor and he would go offline. So typically in VR, when you have full body tracking, when you put your headset on the floor, that's what happens, right? That means he left. I would find out shortly after in Discord DMs that his mom had walked in on him. I didn't know how to respond, given I was told by him his mom would still physically abuse and yell at him. So my brain switched to make sure he was okay as opposed to addressing what he just did with me, as you can see in the DMs below.
Yeah,
check these DMs out, dude. This is insane. This is a master class of manipulation.
I have to say, chat, like I don't know what it is, but the degeneracy of VR chat is next level. Like, it's bad. It's bad. That's why I like hardly do public hangouts, because stuff like this in VR chat is very common.
It is absolutely
it's
bonkers.
crazy.
Look at this. So my mother caught me. Raziel responds with a flushed emoji. Luca then says,
"That's an oof."
She says, "I'm afraid that is what happened."
That's
and he says,
more than an oof.
And then she says, "Big oof. I'm sorry." This dude took out his sausage, started playing with his sausage.
Pretty bad.
No consent, with clear boundaries established. Okay, she's the one who ends up apologizing.
Yeah, like what? Way too nice about this situation. You definitely should have said something.
And don't get into trouble. Heart emoji. Oh
that
no,
gonna be our
big trouble.
Play.
Sad
face.
Now
canceled.
Personal space. Holy fuck. They not know. Sorry, Raz. Yeah, dude. Sorry.
It really is, Lizard.
They don't know, man. I'm getting my meat. Can she not leave me alone? No. It's okay. What do you mean?
Why am I bouncing?
It's okay.
Who redeemed random?
No, bro. It's okay. Listen, I know you beat your meat in front of me. It's all good. Listen, your mom caught you, so I apologize. It's fine. I'll give you an update. My mom is literally having a meltdown. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Again. No, it's literally okay.
Crazy.
What they're doing now is restricting my playtime. As long as you're safe. Yes, please. As long as you're safe so you can beat your meat next time safely. They're going to limit my use of the internet and I'll be only able to use it for 2 hours.
What the fuck?
Forever? Clearly not, because later, Raziel would just start streaming again on Twitch. Now, Luca, or Java at the time, lived or still lives in Australia.
I feel
right?
seasick.
So when she would go live, he would wake up in the morning at 4 a.m. Australian time just to be a part of her stream. He slowly became obsessive and possessive whenever she would talk or
I was gonna say, this doesn't really sound like he got restricted at all.
Whenever she would
really
do something with someone else, he would get angry. She would tell him multiple times to knock it off and that it wasn't appropriate. But even with all these things, she still
people that push boundaries like this are not okay. And like genuinely, that's not
felt
okay.
the need to specify. I do greatly appreciate him helping me and appearing on my stream to this day. However, he just beat his meat without your consent when you told him about your long-term relationship and established boundaries. This was the perfect time to tell him,
it sounds
hey,
like there's problems
it's been fun.
here.
I'm not interested in talking to you anymore, okay? She has had one hell of a chance to do this, but she opted
sounds
not
like
to.
there's big
Why?
problems
I
here.
do not know. He became super possessive, and then she said, after establishing more boundaries and being understood by both of us, we were able to continue our friendship. I don't know how, when you had already established boundaries, and the dude beat his meat. But even with those boundaries, he said she still feels obligated to talk and be with him because of the way he would get upset, or at least I felt like I had to keep my conversations with others short.
At that point, you step away. You just step away.
And I mean extreme ironic fashion. The god-tier trap who would pretend to be a female to then trick people that he's a male had big problems with certain groups of people. He really didn't like it when someone called him gay. His mom joked about it and he was like, fuck no, dude. Fuck no. No, dude, I'm not gay. Don't say that. And as recently as January 2023, he said this. Yeah, trans people make me uncomfortable and pregnant women. That is so random though, dude. Now at some point, Java
chat, this is before he got into Nijisanji. Yeah, this is before he's in Nijisanji, chat. He hasn't even gotten into the agency yet. And this is the stuff that he's done, right? So it's not looking too good.
To stream on Twitch under the name of Java with 4 A's. After becoming a god-tier trap, like the wiki says, and tricking streamers such as Soda Poppin', he started to gain some sort of popularity. This is when, for whatever reason, Raziel abandoned her entire streaming career just to help him with his streaming. I don't know why. Like, does he have a gun to...
I feel really bad because I think that she, in a way, is like whatever this guy was doing engrossed her, and she felt very just attached to him, right? Not that he was like holding her hostage, but there was certainly like their relationship. She probably felt like she could not leave, and she was reliant on him. Almost kind of like a
does he have
Beauty and the Beast, like Stockholm syndrome?
Why, but she did. Okay, she did. She started managing his channel, his community. Her work included keeping him company on stream per request, suggesting games for him to play based on popularity, managing sponsorships, cultivating and managing his community, running and helping his moderation team, coming up with Sabaton goals, and executing the goals that didn't directly involve him, streaming for him at least once a week on his channel so that he would stay consistent.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And even after all this, Java would still lie to her about his revenue, making her think that he makes way less than he actually makes, and about going to school when he wasn't even enrolled, among various things.
What?
Now, as he was streaming on Twitch, Nijisanji all of a sudden opened up their auditions for their next...
You care for somebody a little bit, and they take it to the extreme. They just stretch you thin and use you for everything.
Next wave. He would, of course, apply. And during the application process, while waiting to hear back from
him,
he would end up making 2 alts on Twitter to harass others during the Nijisanji audition process.
I'd be done at that point.
One called Lolly Springa and the other one called Poggers Woggers.
For other people, it's not that easy.
He even linked his own Twitter on his alt saying, help it out, Pog, guys. This is someone talking about their favorite VTuber and then him replying, who asked? Now, the thing is, initially, he wouldn't admit to Raziel that these were his accounts until she tried to log into them using the same password she was given for his other accounts, like his Twitch stream. Again, continuing with the lying, and yet she's still here. Now, as he was waiting
a lot of personal relationship
final response, He got banned from the GTA 5 RP server No Pixel for sexual harassment. Look at this, dude, look at this. We had multiple reports of you pushing sexual harassment during and going against TOS on a 911 call. The RPer wasn't comfortable with the direction it was heading.
What?
In terms of him RPing, that his testicle was damaged, causing him to sound like a woman and begging us to help him to put it back. You made a racially offensive remark during the heli ride back to the city as well. Tried to grab EMSs inappropriately.
What's up, Melon Beans? How you
He's
doing?
a train wreck. He's an absolute disaster. And even though he just got banned from No Pixel, around that time, Nijisanji asked him to come for a final interview. And guess what? He was the first English male wave VTuber under the revolutionary.
Now I know that Nijisanji could not have known all this stuff, right? Like, that there's no way that they could have found out about all this. But it still blows my mind that this is the people that continuously get into Nijisanji chat.
Luxium wave. Yes, the same wave that revolutionized male VTubers in the industry on the global side. He was the first. Does that not say
that's
a lot
cancelable
about the
material.
wave and the company?
Literally.
Nijisanji just can't
That's
catch a break.
cancelable material.
Now, Raziel says here, our relationship was still very good at this point. We would spitball names for his character where we only had the image below to go off of, etc., etc. Now, I don't know what her definition of a good relationship is, but even at this point, their relationship was absolutely putrid.
Yeah, no, she's
this
being
was
used.
terrible. During the
she's
naming
being
process,
used.
one funny thing that'll come up later is that he mentioned that one of his aspirations was how he did not want to become like other male VTubers. He wanted to go with a non-boyfriend experience, and he didn't want to pander or sell out. He wanted to be non-lewd and really play into the mafia-esque character, the one you see here. Look, man, very admirable. I'm going for that too. But if you've watched,
so they only had this image. Did they help him design it, or were they just like, "Oh, you have to be this character"? I'm kind of curious
Luca,
about
you already
that.
know this didn't even last a month.
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
Like half a year. So at this point, he got signed to Nijisanji and had to prepare for his debut stream. This
And
is
everything
a
blew
VTuber's
up
first
for him,
ever stream.
chat.
It's a big moment, and many things get commissioned and made to make it as impactful as possible. Luca, the train wreck, was having a hard time preparing, though. One of his artists ghosted him, and he couldn't figure out how to make some things work. So hey, guess who stepped up for free? Raziel. She made his PowerPoint, schedule, outro. It's just like she's his babysitter.
She made the whole
It's
fucking stream for him.
How Nijisanji's not there to do these things. You're starting a new wave on the global market, which is by all means way more important than the Japanese market long term, and he was left to do these things by himself. As far as I know, other corporations actually make an effort to assist you in this process, at least when you're starting out. After Lucas started,
of course it's Nijisanji. They don't give a shit.
Nijisanji, after the debut, he would cut off contact with pretty much everyone. He would still speak to Raziel, but he would still be abusive, comparing her to his abusive mother, which is one of the worst things you can do when all you do is complain about your mother and then compare your friend to her. But even with all this,
she helped him with everything. What are you talking about?
Then something substantial happens, and it's easily one of the most ridiculous things in this
She needs to cut
document.
ties with him.
She calls it the Ring Fit Adventure
She needed to cut ties with him
really gonna test
a long
your
time
cringe
ago.
tolerance. Now, if you're not aware, the Ring Fit is something you can use with your Nintendo Switch. It's great for exercising.
Oh, chat, here we go. I hope you're ready.
Quite a bit of VTubers have already streamed themselves working out with it. Now, Raziel and another mod from the Java days were the only moderators in his entire chat. And we're talking about a YouTube channel that gets thousands of concurrent viewers
he's
at
killing
once.
it.
Now, she personally couldn't make it to the stream. She watched it back and saw that many of the comments were sexual in nature. She asked Luca if this was fine with him, and he did say that it made him uncomfortable. So the next stream where he was doing the Ring Fit, she would try to steer the conversation in other directions if the chat was getting horny. It got so crazy that at some point she had to call out someone publicly in chat saying that Luca was moaning on purpose. She said, no, actually, this is just him breathing heavily from tough exercise. Man, what a tough situation.
I mean, this has been out for a while, right? This video was made a month ago. But it's the fact that the cease and desist came out against Raziel. That's what makes this so damning. This is just like, all of this is basically true, because you would not issue a cease and desist unless this was true.
You tell me, does he sound like he's moaning or just heavily breathing?
I didn't say no, I thought I heard about this like a month ago.
Bro, look
Yeah,
at
this
this
was like a
comment
month
right
ago.
here. Every single timestamp where
Exercise.
he moans extremely
Somebody put timestamps for the moans. Holy
bro.
shit. That is hilarious.
What is this? Look
That
at the
is
chat.
great.
What is this? Heavily breathing my ass.
Oh my
What do you
God.
mean? Who the hell breathes like this? Then someone donates and says,
That
why are
is
your moderators
great.
banning people? Luca immediately sides with the donator and says, don't worry, I'll talk to them. She then panics. Raziel panics and just messages him immediately saying, we didn't ban anyone. We only
That is
timed
a
out,
ton
please."
of timestamps,
Which is a sign
too.
of a great relationship, by the way. If
There's some fans that
your
don't care
friend
what
talks to you
offend
this way,
Just to
just
keep
know
doing it.
you
Yep.
have a very healthy relationship, guys. So they
The
talked
cease and
about it, and
desist
then he
will
made
make
this
things
tweet
worse.
saying, I trust my moderators to do their jobs. Do not lie to me and say they were banning people because of an emote when all they were doing was timing out very weird comments. Stop it, it was all a misunderstanding. Still though, even with this tweet siding with his moderators, Raziel was doxxed. Her image is put everywhere on social media and got death threats and harassment. So what did she do? She asked to speak to his manager Nijisanji to better formulate.
So let's pause a second here, chat, because this is an important thing to talk about. So because of this incident, she ended up getting doxxed. Yeah, all of the fans went after her, and that's ended up what happened. So she asked to speak to manager Nijisanji to formulate how they could deal with this. Because remember, she is moderating for him. She's been with him for a long time, supporting him. So she needs help. Because, again, this is the Nijisanji fans going after them.
A plan on how to best.
So before we continue, chat, how do you think Nijisanji dealt with this situation?
Handle this. Both Luca and his manager ignored her. And Luca told her, listen, you know what? Just be a silent mod. Just don't talk in this.
What a surprise. They ignored her and said, I'll just be a silent mod. Bruh.
Chat.
They literally
She
fucking
says,
ignored
this
her.
put a giant strain on our
Classic
friendship. But guess
Nijisanji.
what? She stayed again. She's not leaving. She's not getting contact with him.
Girl, get out of there.
Most
What are you
people would have
doing?
cut contact and ended this quote-unquote friendship
Girl,
as soon as he
get
beats
the
meat.
fuck out
But
of
no,
there.
she's still here for whatever reason. So remember how I said that it was admirable that Luca didn't want to go with the boyfriend experience route? Well, as you saw from
He
the Ring Fit
literally got
stream,
doxxed. He literally got doxxed and stayed there. That blows my
that
mind.
did not last long. One of the main reasons why he converted to BFE was because he kept comparing his view count to the other Luxium members, which according to Raziel, the number fixation is what drove him away from what he originally wanted to portray. He would be upset if I took notice of his new on-stream personality and overall content change. Luca would start to pander more. He would Fujo bait, which is pretty much gay baiting, with the other boys, and started to shift towards a more boyfriend experience type content. He would get frustrated and sad that I didn't watch his streams anymore, which was for numerous reasons. One was the content shift, the other was his time slot, which was quite late for me. I would occasionally watch the streams, but I couldn't even talk about them because it was like walking on eggshells. I couldn't joke about the things he did or say, as he would get upset at me, yet somehow all we would talk about was
Nijisanji. It is hard to leave relationships like that too. And one of the funniest
things about this, right? Remember, he didn't want to be boyfriend experience, he didn't want to be overly horny, he didn't want to pander for these things. He would always say things like this, like, look, Jesus, there are so many shirtless fan arts. I cannot retweet them because it'll just be weird. It's like, why are you talking about it then? What's going on? Thinking about my voice tweet 1 hour ago being sexual makes me uncomfortable, and I don't want that up. It's like, really? What is it? What's the voice tweet? It can't be that bad. Come on.
You're like, he's trying to like justify. He's doing this on purpose for views, and then he's like trying to step back to hold his image that he's created for her. That's all that is. You know what I mean? Like,
that's my little lookups.
I am cringe champing. Trust me, buddy. Same here.
His image with her.
Thank you for 173,000 subscribers.
Bro,
who talks like this? Listen, you guys can laugh and cringe all you want. Look at this. 34,000 likes, 1,400 bookmarks, 7,400 retweets, 1,000 comments. This was before we could see impressions on posts. I guarantee you this has at least 500,000. It pays,
That's
man.
insane.
As cringy as this is. He'd be mostly jealous of Vox, who was getting more attention than him. He would constantly be on sites like 4chan, and he would ego search himself on Twitter, which means looking at positive comments that are glazing him 24/7 and then
I didn't
telling
even know that was a
Raziel about it.
thing.
She says here, he
Ego
would show me
surfing?
fan
That's
art and clips
hilarious.
people were making of him nonstop and what they were saying about him. People thought
That's crazy.
Riordan was needy streamer overload. No. It is him. He would even directly message his fans on Twitter and lie to Raziel about it, which is an extreme form of parasocial. Bye, I'm winning. This is a fan who got a DM from him saying, night, you too. She probably experienced puberty for the second time after this message. So Raziel was what was.
I feel like that kind of crosses a professionalism line. Yeah,
holding
I don't know
Luca's
about that.
entire career together
That's
at
a
this
gray
point.
area
And she was
for sure.
continuing to do work for him, and he started to pay her. Now here's the thing. He wanted to pay her a monthly salary.
Night
She
King,
wanted a simple
NBA has
contract.
worse problems
He
than
denied the
Nijisanji
contract
does.
and wouldn't even allow her to send invoices to him. No, instead he would just send her random payments. She had to remind him, by the way, saying commission service, commission. Even at one point saying
Well, at
happy
least he
birthday.
paid her. At least
when
he
it
paid
wasn't
her.
her birthday. That's tax fraud, dude. What are you doing? What is going on? Point. She even wrote his signature for him. Look at this. This is her handwriting. This is her handwriting as well. The handwritten note. And this was sent to everyone who bought his voice back. This is insane. This doesn't
Half
just hurt
of
him.
Luca is
It
this
hurts
lady.
any other VTubers under Nijisanji because now people
Oh
are
my
asking,
God.
am I even getting real signatures? When he reached 1 million subscribers, management sent him this message, which was leaked, of course. Thanks to do for 1 million subs.
That's
Hi,
crazy.
Luca. Since you are very close to 1 million subs now, please proceed the following ASAP. Something to do with
that's
merch.
crazy.
Submit handwritten short message similar to the attached image. This was from another Japanese Nijisanji VTuber called Kane.
Well, unfortunately,
And
punched
they're
by
using
my
this as an
some
example.
countries.
So he wrote to Raziel the message that he wanted, and guess what? She wrote it for him. There is nothing genuine about him, dude. She even drew the drawing here. She wrote
literally, like she
his
is
name.
him.
He didn't do a single thing except
He
come up with the
literally is
message,
him.
which was very simple, by the way.
That's crazy.
She even gave him ideas of what to do to celebrate, going through old clips,
Yeah, that's
showcasing fan
crazy.
art, drawing something to be updated. I think at this point, we all understand how much of a train wreck Luca and his career has been if it wasn't for Raziel and their very weird relationship. Nijisanji don't even have to try to look bad. They signed someone who's an absolute psychopath as one of their first signings for the Luxium wave. But this document takes it a step further because it shows us things that Luca leaked to Raziel internally from Nijisanji that he wasn't supposed to show a single living soul.
So here we go, chat. Now we're gonna dive into the stuff that is under Nijisanji's NDA. What stuff you should not be talking about. And he leaked all this to her. So this is like a huge contract break, right? You know, Lucas should be fucking done at this point. He has leaked contractual information from a large corporation, and they did nothing.
She says, to my understanding, staff have 3 channels of communication
Absolutely
with the Nijisanji
insane.
livers. This would be Slack, Microsoft Teams, and Discord. I think just the idea that they use Microsoft Teams to communicate with their VTubers is enough.
That's so funny.
To never, ever want to sign up with Nijisanji. Forget everything else. The
Yeah,
fact that
oh,
he is-
Luca, how could you leak all of our private documents? I guess there's only one thing to do. Cover it up.
Microsoft Teams. While it was rare I would get screenshots of any internal messages, there were a couple times I did. One would be about staff showing EN what 3D recording looked like for concerts with a video call. One would be upper management thanking
crazy.
Luca for his hard work through Slack, and the other, already shown above, was asking for a message
That's
from
actually
Luca for his
crazy.
1 million subscriber milestone through Discord. So this is the image showing them how
Luca's
the
like,
concert would look like in Microsoft Teams in a live stream. And this right here was a message from an employee working for Nijisanji EN saying, to be honest, I bet everything on EN. If EN had not succeeded, I would have been fired, so I'm extremely grateful for your daily cooperation. This showcases the extremely positive work environment.
Yeah,
great, guys.
Great job
like
environment.
An anime with
Way
someone
to
who's
go.
in the corporate work culture under like an ugly bastard of a boss, right?
That's
By
nuts.
the way, he leaks something that explains why Nijisanji was so terrible at handling the Selling Tatsuki situation and everything else afterwards. She says, there are multiple times and instances where something would happen and I would ask Luca if they ever received
it's just
basic
all around
public
weird, right,
relations
CD?
training. He would inform me they did not. Surprise, surprise. Any colors management felt non-existent.
They didn't even get any type of PR support No wonder they're fucking
from what Luca had
insane.
told. So it goes further to show that
Agreed.
they had a very weird relationship that didn't make sense at all to me. Now, due to this event being canceled for him and Ike, he got really pissed off and ended up causing one of the members of staff at Nijisanji to allegedly start crying. According to his messages, he was saying that he was talking to a vice president and a producer. God knows who cried in this conversation, but this also, again, shows, guys, listen, Nijisanji's hiring right now. For $2 an hour, you too can work in an extremely positive workplace. He also leaked the fact that he had dinner with the CEO of Nijisanji. Yes, Riku Tazumi, the one who gives a sloppy coffee like no one else, baby. Going to a very fancy Japanese house, being escorted by people in kimonos. Then he says, then it was just like the upper management, these millionaires and billionaires. Raziel says, you're a millionaire.
Right?
And then Lucas says, oh yeah, that's right.
What?
Motherfucker had to be reminded. Oh, right, yeah,
What?
I am a millionaire. That's true. Hey, man, gay baiting pays
Nah,
money,
all that
baby.
money was going straight to Riku. It was not going to him.
That's why they do it, even though they know it's
Yeah,
cringe.
it was only
That's not
1%
the
of
end
that
the
was going to
internal
him.
Nijisanji leaks. No, in fact, this one is probably the most incriminating. According to Luca, he said that multiple girls were coming to him in Nijisanji saying that Aster Arcadia was harassing and bullying others internally. Now, this is Aster right here. Of course, these are allegations. According to Raziel, this was also
we don't know
confirmed
if
by
this is
another
absolutely
VTuber
true.
who's gonna stay anonymous. But look, in general, when people keep saying, oh, this guy's bullying, this guy's bullying, this guy, multiple fingers being pointed at multiple different people, it already indicates
It's not
a
looking
not
good.
so positive
It's not
work
looking
culture.
good.
Of course, Aster couldn't
We
care
don't
less
know,
about his
though, for
accusations
sure.
as they're currently playing League of
Yeah, we
Legends
don't know.
and saying things like, I eat you. But things are not looking good for Nijisanji at all. This was the DM she received from another Nijisanji liver saying, to help you with clarity, I remember that incident, it was Aster. And of course, management didn't do anything about it. The same Nijisanji liver
No, actually, Chet, they did do something about it. They sent her a cease and desist.
also told her that Luca has done a lot of bad things, not just to you, so thank you for sharing your experience. A lot of people waited for you to tell the truth for a while because it had been an issue, so I'm happy you finally did. So apparently, he also was harassing people inside of Nijisanji. So this was so big that just like Sellen's situation, it reached the Japanese side of the internet. Look, man, courtesy to Fall Side on this one. I had no idea this was even a website. I mean, this looks like something out of 1998. But apparently, it's a well-known Japanese blog talking about this whole incident. And as you can see, there are a whole lot of comments, hundreds, reaching close to 1,700 at the time of me recording this. At some point, listen, I don't need to give you a recap, okay? Just the fact
people were talking
himself
about
in a
it.
call with her while she had
Everybody
established
was.
boundaries was enough of a reason to leave, right?
Yeah, exactly.
After all this was years of having to endure this
Like,
relationship,
I think it was
whatever
what from 2019 to
decided to
2022.
end their friendship. She says Luca would become too much for my mental health. And I told him I needed to take a break away from our friendship.
years
I blocked him on Discord
of
after I said
helping
I
him.
needed some breathing room. I let him know if there was an emergency, it was okay to call/text me. You'd think it's the start of something new, of a new chapter for her. Nope. After a week or so, I found out that allegedly people were making him uncomfortable and he started to fall asleep on other Nijisanji live streams. Something he had never done before. I texted him if
he was
okay.
taking it
Dude,
hard.
He had one job.
Yeah,
Just
he was
cut him
taking it hard.
off. She calls him by his real name, says, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. She tells him, hey, I've heard of what's going on. You're sleeping on people's streams. Is everything okay? And he says, yeah, don't worry. My sleep is really bad, but I just need to fix myself. Otherwise, nothing's going to change. Cool. Does she go back to taking a break from him? Nope.
Nope.
He
Nope.
would go on trips, message her,
Oh,
Snapchat her,
girl.
update her. She asks him, hey, I'm having a celebration on stream. Want to show up? He says, yes, then doesn't show up. Amazing. Then their friendship grew more toxic. You should have left when you had the chance,
He lost
Raziel.
his support
She'd
pillar,
be hurt,
exactly.
upset, frustrated, angry. You
The
know,
person
typical
he's
stuff
continued to use all these years.
that have been happening for the last 4 years of their friendship.
It's
She
hard
had
to
fly
leave
out
though,
her
Hellcat.
dad,
It really
so you
is.
can keep an eye on her, essentially, from what she says, because she was thinking of graduating her soul out of her body. She was thinking of transitioning from being alive to not alive. Yes, that's right. We're avoiding the YouTube demonetization.
Yeah,
algorithm.
it got
But you know
really
what I
bad
mean.
for
She was
her.
coherent enough to realize that she was forming a plan in her head to
Yeah, it
so
got
she stayed
bad
with her
for
dad
her.
a bit, went to a psychologist, hoping to recover. She went back home afterwards, and guess what she did? First thing she did, continue her friendship with Luca. Dude, this is insane. This is
Oh my
absolutely
gosh.
preposterous. The toxicity would continue, and he would tell her, listen, he couldn't do it anymore. He never wanted to talk to her again. The expectations were killing him, for whatever that meant. But still, even when he was pushing her away, guess what she did, guys? Did she actually leave? Nope, she stayed.
Nope, she stayed.
We would exchange diary-esque updates to each other after this for a couple months, but I noticed it was making me increasingly anxious. I wonder why.
Yeah,
she was going through multiple cancer removing surgeries and didn't have anyone to talk to about this, as he had isolated her. Now that sucks, and cancer sucks in general, but guys, would it be too much to say that Luca was part of the reason she got cancer? Exposure to someone like this might have contributed to the cancer. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
She just really had, she was in too deep and she had a lot of problems.
After not updating me on a major life event, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I told him this. So what does he do? What does Luca do to counter this? Well, he showed me pictures of his family's golden retriever puppy, which turned out to not be his dog. Another lie.
What? Why would you?
And then he
why is this your go-to to apologize?
He told me he still wanted to be friends, but that he couldn't do it right now. They would finally stop talking after that, and he would only reach out again asking for tax information because apparently paying someone to do something for you and saying happy birthday as the reason is
I feel so
fraud.
bad.
Look, it's clear both Raziel and Luca have big issues.
Yeah.
And yeah, as much as
so guys, I feel so bad for her, right? Because she let this go on. At the same time, she should have got out when she could. So they're definitely both at fault for different reasons, right? Like, I feel very bad for her, and it's very hard to leave those situations. The best thing she could have done was get out, right? Luca absolutely used her for so long, chat, so long. And the way that she got doxxed was absolutely unacceptable. There's so many things that happened to her that were unacceptable, right? But the way that he used her is just gross. So chat, now that you've seen the backstory and you understand all this and the history of it, for Nijisanji to send a cease and desist to her is the grossest, dumbest shit I think I've ever seen as a response to a situation like this. It's hard to get out when you have such a long, close relationship. Exactly. I think that's why you need friends to kind of remind you, like, hey, this isn't good for you. But so chat. Literally for this, Nijisanji has sent her the cease and desist. They're literally proving that all of this is absolutely true. Because why would you need to send this? Unless it was true, right, chat? There's a reason you never see Dizzy send them exactly. They self-reported. So chat, let me ask you before we close up for this video today. Let me ask you. Do you think that everything that happened that she reported in the document is true? Yes or no? Thank you so much to all my Ko-Fi and Discord boosters. If you want to see your name here, consider supporting with the Ko-Fi link below.